Hello and welcome back to our lovely little thing that is also called, well, something. I'm sometimes confused as to what it actually is. Some may call it an enemy, some may call it, well, a French invasion of, well, France, which is in itself quite strange. But now that I think about it, actually no, these are mostly English troops, so it's actually an English invasion of France. This is getting quite confusing. Anyway, so our biggest effort right now is just simply to either take, well, we only want to take the southern port, so we have a big ass undersupplied army, and that one that slowly dies away. Always very interesting. Hey, the war on Denmark has finally happened. That took a hell of a long time, much longer than you'd really expect. Well, oh well, here we go. And that right there is a helicopter. Lovely. Right, we have a winning battle at the moment in the port town, which doesn't actually have a name, so I'm going to call it north of Natis. And yes, we have taken it. Lovely, which means the best part has come. These poor Englishmen are now out of supply. Well, lines at least. They still have some, unsurprisingly, considering, you know, they've only been out of supply for like 2 hours or something like that. But I'm sure we'll manage to get them down and dealt with in short succession. After which we'll be able to finally actually try and invade England like we initially planned. Of course, we do still have to take Calais. Not Calais. I always say Calais. Calais? Ceuta. Sorry, Ceuta. What am I saying? Oh, and the Englishmen are trying to get back into the port town. Something I managed to just barely stop from happening. It's beautiful, isn't it? Anyhow, as things go, it could be quite a bit worse, but we are keeping them under control. Sadly, however, they did manage to get into the port town. Luckily, though, they are leaving right away, and we can move right back in. That is, if these people will finally actually help out, unlike these lovely Germans who have, so far, been doing nothing at all. It's lovely. It really is when you have to fight an entire world war by yourself because the AI is entirely retarded. Oh well, here we go, we finally held. You get the point. However, one of our troops in the north are once again thinking it's a great idea to move over the ocean in the English Channel. Hey, our invasion of Ceuta has finally really begun. Troops are finally landing. Troops are landing without being contested for once, which in itself is a mystery to me. Japan wants help in a war, most likely to one against China. We, however, find that to be most unreasonable. Let me put it that way. And yeah, we are thinking about building this, but it's no longer possible because you actually have to conquer it. However, it's also partially the case because it is an allied territory and not our own. And as we all know, allies never let you do anything for them. That would be quite silly. Anyway, we're going to enter about in a day, which is hopefully not going to take too much longer than, well, you'd expect, which is a hell of a long time. Hell of a long time indeed. However, Ceuta has been taken, and we have control over the not Trafalgar, what am I saying? The Strait. We control the Strait. Which means right away let's move our trips up into the North Sea, or more interestingly the Eastern North Sea. After all, we don't want to go through the English Channel by any means necessary. Well, of course, unless we're actually trying to get there, in which case we don't really have a choice in the matter. Oh, and there's the second French invasion, by the way. Thought you might like to know. Yeah, the Germans are slightly stupid. And when I say slightly, I mean very, and when I say very, I mean immensely. Sadly, this episode's not much more than me containing the French and the eventual invasion, if I'm not entirely mistaken. We are getting closer and closer to that end of the backlog. Some people seemingly didn't actually enjoy my Australian thread. Well, I'm judging from the fact that I suddenly dropped from 601 to about 601 to 597 subscribers. Apparently a lot of people found it a little bit irritating. I haven't actually got any comments on it, strangely enough. probably because it was too irritating to begin with, but I should actually have a look at the statistics for it to see how many people managed to survive the torture. But at least this way you can appreciate what I'm doing for you guys by re-recording all these with new audio. Bay of Biscay, we're almost about to enter, which is quite lovely, I must say. Of course, it does take a while longer. We do have to get through the English Channel first without getting entirely destroyed. Look at all those capitulated nations. I don't know how they think they have a chance. Well, to be honest, they don't, so in that case, hey, it's pretty accurate. Low supply, yeah, I'd say the low supply is about accurate in this case. Here they all slowly just pop away. Oh, it's beautiful. Northern France will once again belong to Germany. Not sure why I did that. I wanted to more of invade, if I last checked. I do remember invading from... Oh no, right, because I had a thought if I could perhaps, just perhaps, invade from this side, but eventually it does not actually occur, so it is the same that is. However, our Coast Guard has finally finished. 17 troops should be enough for at least the problem areas, aka the Mediterranean, and eventually also, I think we did Arabia as well, but again, on the port divisions, that's all that's necessary around here. And yeah, we do Arabia, and I think Iran, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. Or we just do the entire coastline, which also works. I did not expect myself to do that, though, but I mean, hey. Better safe than sorry, I suppose. Of course, we have nowhere near enough divisions for that, but I'm sure you see the reasoning behind it. Ah, yes, but I do add some of these divisions to it, I'm pretty sure. Of course, Australia is enjoying itself lovelily under its new Afghanistani rulership. And the French are, well, breaking once again. Only 2 troops left in this hell of a battle. Rene has fallen, and next comes, well, whatever's left, to be honest. I have no idea what that sound is, and I expect very few of you do either. It does almost sound like someone dragging something along the road, or just some random nonsense I have happening in the background. Not entirely sure. It was a strange day today, actually, because we had the first storm of summer down here in Australia. That in itself is almost a miracle. After all, who the hell has summer? Wait, what? No, that was the other way around. Who the hell has water in... Okay, yeah, this is where I get annoyed because I can't actually draw my own invasion lines. I have to use the preset ones, which is always a tad, let's call it annoying. Yeah, always going through those 2 provinces when you have 3 perfectly good provinces next to it. Ireland is apparently available for invasion in that manner, but I decided not to. However, I do actually start fabricating a claim on Ireland, I'm pretty sure. Simply because, well, why the heck not? It's pretty easy to take usually. I don't think we actually use it at any point. Never saw the appeal. And yeah, even when we go from down here, we still have to go for the United Kingdom. Apparently it's preset that you have to control the English Channel, which is in itself pretty damn stupid. Yes, this is just me raging about how this game is utterly useless. But yeah, here we go, that invasion of Munster will eventually, well, coalesce into not happening, but... Yes, once we saw the troop numbers, I was more and more disheartened about the situation. And simply because, well, there's no real point in me doing it at that point. That in itself is a bit of a contradiction. It's interesting enough, the British actually have aerial superiority in France, which is, again, as I said before, quite strange. However, it doesn't help them much when they pop and they lose almost 20 troops. Quite lovely indeed. Support weapons 4 are finally in, which means even more fun for me, and I'm just checking in how many ships are actually out and about to make sure that we have a good way of doing this. Actually, going through the English Channel doesn't end up being a great idea for us, but then again, we can't beat the classics. And so we do a normal invasion of central Britain with our classic tactic. Of course, we have to move our entire strike force over into that area. We do, for some reason, decide to engage this, but I cleverly tell them that's a terrible idea, you absolute idiots. And so we move right around it and leave the Italians to their fate. Death. Mostly death. Also, hey look, we're coming back for round 2. But again, as we are the most clever people in the world, we did manage to stop them, and now we're reorganizing ourselves in, well, what was once Holland, as much as we are in the rest of what was once Holland as well. This is a sneak peek at Japanese stupidity. There's a clear line of attack directly into the capital, the only province they still need for Chinese capitulation, but the AI in its infinite wisdom has decided that that's a terrible idea. We're just waiting for the invasion plan to get ready, so that we will just easy peasy, well, destroy people. Mostly by sending 22 submarines into the North Sea and controlling it at least 50%, because that's the way it always worked. Submarines are the best escorts, I'd say. I'm not entirely sure why we have 2 invasions planning, not sure why the second one actually is. I trust, however, there's a reason for why there's 2 of them. I'm pretty sure I realized it in-game, but I never realized it post-game, which in itself makes no sense. Here we go, our first invasion planning has completed. Look, there's some troops in the south, always good to see. That means they're not in the north. And that's all that really matters, isn't it? 12 days, 13 days, and 14. Lovely. So I tell them to go, and then I put my ships out to make sure that this way we don't have to deal with the nonsense. Whoops, terribly sorry. And now here we go. In goes the... Oh yes, and France is landed again because Germany's a bit stupid. Oh well, right? Oh well. It just happens. Our 2 troops are doing their thing, invading the hull of Britain. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I'm sure there's a battleship joke to be made there somewhere. 2 strong armored units. Anyway, let's get everyone onto the islands and invading the south. Of course, we'll use one of our great trucks / horses to invade the north, but until that point actually comes, well, we'll see. Into Dover as well. Perfect. Gonna send one right across the middle to make sure that, well, there's no reinforcements coming in from the north or reinforcement coming from the south, or, well, from anywhere really. Because, hey, who the hell wants reinforcements? However, new Afghanistan enjoying its general reign above the world. Ceuta still not entirely free, since there's a massive armored tank in a way, but we can hope, we can hope. Our ships aren't getting intercepted just yet. 15 troops, however, have landed in northern France. Hello, Germany. It's round 2 all over again. I'm going to send a troop down right into Birmingham, because why the heck not? The United Kingdom's 9% down to capitulation. It actually has a 90% capitulation rate, which means, wow, that thing's not ever going to fall. And yeah, we have our justification for Ireland that we'll never actually use. Funny enough, they actually responded relatively quickly. As you can see, we have a tank contesting our attack into the south, but I'm sure the AI is stupid enough to pull that one back just in time. We're going to take a truck up north because Scotland's useless and no one really cares if you invade it, least of all if it's Southern English. I mean, I'm sure many Scottish people can attest to that fact. However, here we go. Let's invade England again for the 7th time now. It's kind of gotten routine, to be honest. After all, who is more reasonable to invade than the English? We do decide to move around some of our factories to increase our production of things we actually need in comparison to actually using things that we actually have. Of course, area superiority is not in our favor. We've never produced planes, and we probably never will. There's just no need. We don't have the... Well, actually, 197 factories. Perhaps we do, but I don't have the time for it.